I should have known something was wrong when Jessica couldn't reach the catering company an hour before her brother's graduation party. My 19-year-old daughter had spent months planning this surprise celebration for her brother Marcus's high school graduation, working double shifts at the café to save money and coordinating with his friends in secret. "Mom, they're not answering," Jessica said, frowning at her phone as we decorated the community center. "I confirmed with them yesterday. They were supposed to set up at 4 o'clock. I checked my watch. 4:30 p.m. The guests would start arriving at 5:30 and Marcus would be brought here by his best friend at 6 o'clock. Try their emergency number, honey." Jessica had thought of everything. The decorations were in Marcus's school colors, blue and silver. Each table had a centerpiece featuring photos from his 4 years of high school. She'd even created a video montage of messages from relatives who couldn't make it. "The emergency line is saying the order was picked up an hour ago." Jessica's voice rose in panic. "But that's impossible. I'm the only one authorized to pick up the order." My stomach dropped. "Call the venue coordinator." As if on cue, Mrs. Chen, the community center coordinator, burst through the doors. "Mrs. Walker, there's another party going on in the West Wing. They're saying they're with your family?" Jessica and I exchanged looks before rushing down the hallway. As we got closer, we could hear music and laughter. When Mrs. Chen opened the West Wing doors, I felt Jessica freeze beside me. There, in the beautifully decorated space that my daughter had spent hours setting up this morning, was my ex-husband's new wife, Amanda, surrounded by her 3 teenagers and what looked like 30 of their closest friends. They were eating the catering Jessica had carefully selected, Marcus's favorite foods from the upscale Italian place across town. "What is going on?" Jessica's voice trembled with anger. Amanda looked up, a champagne flute in her hand. "Oh, you're early. We decided to start the party a little sooner. Hope you don't mind." "Don't mind." Jessica stepped forward. "This is Marcus's surprise graduation party. How did you even know about it?" Amanda's oldest daughter, Brittany, smirked from her seat. Dad's email was open on his laptop. We saw all the planning details. I felt sick. My ex-husband, David, had been one of the few people Jessica had trusted with the party details, knowing Marcus spent weekends at his house. She'd wanted to make sure there wouldn't be any scheduling conflicts. "Where's Dad?" Jessica demanded, watching as some teenager she didn't know opened one of the carefully wrapped gifts she'd arranged on the present table. "Working late," Amanda shrugged. "But he said we should come represent the family. Marcus is part of our family too, you know." "Marcus doesn't even know these people." Jessica's voice cracked. This was supposed to be his surprise with his friends, his family. "Oh, honey," Amanda's tone was condescending. "These are his family now. My kids' friends will be his friends too. We're just helping him expand his social circle." I watched as Jessica surveyed the damage. The elegant cake she'd special ordered was half eaten. The photo centerpieces had been pushed aside for pizza boxes. They'd ordered additional food on top of the catering. The video montage she created was playing in the background, completely ignored by the crowd of strangers eating her brother's party food. "Mrs. Walker," Mrs. Chen touched my arm. "I have security footage of them arriving and claiming to be authorized to accept the catering delivery. They signed for it using your name." "They what?" I turned to Amanda. "You forged my signature." Amanda waved her hand dismissively. "Don't be so dramatic. We're all family here." "No." Jessica's voice was quiet but firm. "Family doesn't do this. Family doesn't steal a party someone else planned and paid for. Family doesn't forge signatures and crash a surprise celebration." One of Amanda's friends laughed. "Crash? Honey, we improved this party. It was going to be so boring with just your little high school friends." I watched my daughter's face as she took in the scene. The scattered gifts, the half-eaten food, the strangers lounging in the space she'd worked so hard to make perfect for her brother. But instead of crying, she pulled out her phone. "Mom," she said calmly, "call Marcus's friend Tyler. Tell him not to bring Marcus here." She turned to Mrs. Chen. "I need copies of the security footage, please, and I'm going to need documentation of the catering delivery signature." "What are you doing?" Amanda's smile faltered slightly. "I'm gathering evidence," Jessica replied, "taking photos of the scene. Of theft, of forgery, and of how you and your kids decided to steal a party that cost me 3 months of savings." "You wouldn't dare make trouble." Amanda stood up, swaying slightly. "Your father." My father will be very interested to see how his new wife spent his son's graduation party. Jessica cut her off. Now, I suggest you and your uninvited guests leave before I call the police about the forged signature on the catering receipt. The room fell silent except for the video montage still playing in the background. Marcus's grandmother telling him how proud she was of him. You're overreacting. Brittany stood up, trying to maintain her superior attitude. We were just trying to make the party better. Better? Jessica laughed, but there was no humor in it. You ruined everything. But congratulations. You've just shown everyone exactly what kind of family you are. I pulled out my phone and dialed David's number. He needed to see what his new family had done to his son's celebration. As it rang, I watched Jessica begin documenting everything with Mrs. Chen, her hands steady despite the tears I could see forming in her eyes. The party Jessica had dreamed of giving her brother was destroyed, but she was about to teach everyone a lesson about consequences. And judging by the look on Amanda's face as she watched Jessica photograph the evidence, it was a lesson that would be hard to forget. David arrived 20 minutes later to find Amanda and her crowd still there, though they'd moved to one corner of the room, whispering among themselves. The moment he walked in and saw the chaos, his face went through a range of emotions: confusion, realization, and finally, anger. "What have you done?" he asked Amanda, his voice dangerously quiet. "Daddy, we were just trying to help." Brittany jumped in before her mother could respond. The party was going to be so small and boring. Small and boring. Jessica stepped forward, holding up her phone. "Let me show you what it was supposed to be, Dad." She played the video montage, clips of Marcus's teachers talking about his achievements, his football coach praising his leadership, childhood friends sharing memories. David's face crumpled as he watched. "Jessica spent months on this," I explained, watching my ex-husband's expression darken. "She interviewed everyone secretly, edited it herself. That cake I destroyed. She had to pre-order it 6 weeks ago because it was from Marcus's favorite bakery. The bakery across town." David turned to Amanda. "The one that made his birthday cakes every year until your new wife decided they were too expensive," Jessica finished. "Yeah, that one. I saved up specifically for it." Amanda tried to put her hand on David's arm, but he stepped away. "David, sweetie, we were just trying to make it more festive. The kids wanted to include their friends." "Their friends?" David gestured to the room full of strangers. "These people don't know Marcus. They don't care about his achievements or his dreams. They just wanted free food and a party." Mrs. Chen cleared her throat. "Mr. Walker, I have the security footage ready to show you, and the forged catering receipt." I watched as David viewed the footage on Mrs. Chen's tablet. Amanda arriving early, claiming to be me, signing for the catering. His hands clenched into fists as he watched his wife direct her kids and their friends to start the party without Marcus. "How much?" He turned to Jessica. "What? How much did all this cost you?" Jessica straightened her shoulders. $2,000. I worked double shifts all spring semester." David closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, he looked at Amanda and her kids with an expression I hadn't seen since our divorce. Pure disappointment. "You will reimburse Jessica every penny," he said to Amanda. "And you," he turned to Brittany, "are grounded until you can explain to me why what you did was wrong." "But Dad," Brittany protested. "No buts. All of you out. Now, we'll discuss this at home." As Amanda's crowd began shuffling out, some still grabbing food to take with them, Jessica's phone rang. It was Tyler. "Hey," she answered, putting it on speaker. "Where are you guys?" "At the pizza place near school," Tyler replied. "Marcus is in the bathroom." "Jessica, he knows something's up. He keeps asking why I'm stalling." David took the phone. "Tyler, bring him to my house instead. We'll figure something out." After they hung up, Jessica finally let her composure crack. She sat down heavily in one of the chairs, looking at the mess around her. "All that planning," she whispered. "All those early mornings and late nights at work. I just wanted to give him one perfect day." David knelt beside her chair. "I am so sorry, Jess. I should have known better than to leave my email open. I should have." "Should have what, Dad?" "Known your wife would steal a party, that your stepdaughter would invite 30 strangers to crash it, that they forge Mom's signature and eat food someone else paid for." "Yes, he said simply. I should have known they were capable of this. I've been blind to a lot of things. Mrs. Chen approached with a stack of papers. Here's all the documentation, including photos and security footage. If you want to press charges about the forgery. No, Jessica cut her off, standing up. No charges. But I want them to see it all. Every photo, every video clip. I want them to see exactly what they destroyed today. I looked at my daughter, so strong, so hurt, yet still thinking about the right way to handle things. David must have seen it too, because he pulled out his wallet and handed her his credit card. Order new catering, he said. Call the bakery, see if they can do a rush order. We'll have the party at my house tomorrow. I'll clear out Amanda and the kids, and we'll do it right. Jessica stared at the card. That's not the point, Dad. It was supposed to be special because I did it myself. I know, he replied softly, but let me help fix this. Please. As we started cleaning up the mess, my phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. Mom, something weird is going on. Tyler's acting strange and Dad just told me to come to his house instead of going out with friends. What's happening? I showed the message to Jessica. She read it, then squared her shoulders. Tell him to come here instead, she said. He should see this. See what his perfect new family did to his party. Jess, David started, but she cut him off. No, Dad, no more protecting them. No more pretending everything's fine. Marcus deserves to know the truth about the people you married us to. I texted Marcus the community center address, then helped Jessica salvage what decorations we could. As we worked, I watched David taking photos of his own, his face growing grimmer with each shot. Sometimes the worst moments bring clarity. Looking at my ex-husband's face, I could see he was finally getting clear about a lot of things. And judging by the determined set of Jessica's jaw as she straightened another mangled centerpiece, so was she. Marcus was about to learn some hard truths about family, loyalty, and the difference between people who love you and people who just pretend to. It wasn't the graduation lesson Jessica had planned to teach him, but maybe it was one he needed to learn. Marcus arrived 15 minutes later, still in his graduation gown. The moment he stepped into the room and saw the destruction, his face fell. What is all this? He asked, taking in the scattered decorations, half-eaten food, and the video montage still playing silently in the background. Jessica stepped forward. This was supposed to be your surprise graduation party. I've been planning it for months. Her voice cracked slightly. But Amanda and her kids found out about it and decided to start without us. Marcus walked slowly around the room, picking up a torn photograph from one of the centerpieces. It was him scoring the winning touchdown at his final football game. You did all this for me. There's more. Jessica pulled out her phone and showed him the original photos of how the room had looked before Amanda's invasion. The elegant table settings, the carefully arranged memorabilia from his high school years, the pristine cake with his football jersey number. The cake. Marcus touched the screen. Is that from Giovanni's? Yeah, Jessica smiled sably. I remembered how much you loved their cakes before Amanda decided they were too expensive. Marcus turned to their father, who had been standing quietly in the corner. Did you know about this? About Jessica's plans? Yes. About what Amanda and the kids did? David shook his head. No, but that's no excuse. I should have prevented this. They took everything, Marcus said quietly, watching the silent video where his grandmother was speaking. They just took it all. Not everything. Mrs. Chen appeared with a small box. This was hidden in my office. Jessica asked me to keep it safe until you arrived. Jessica took the box, hands trembling slightly. It's not much now that everything else is ruined, but she handed it to Marcus. He opened it carefully. Inside was a leather-bound book. As he flipped through the pages, his eyes widened. It was filled with letters, photos, and messages from everyone who had influenced his life. His first-grade teacher who taught him to read, his middle school coach who encouraged him to try football, friends from every stage of his life. Jess, his voice broke. How did you? I've been collecting them since January, she explained. Every time someone wrote back with a memory or a message for you, I added it to the book. I wanted you to see how many lives you've touched, how many people are proud of you. Marcus hugged the book to his chest, then pulled his sister into a tight embrace. This is better than any party could have been. Speaking of the party, David stepped forward. We can still have one. Tomorrow, at my house. I've already told Amanda and the kids to clear out. But Marcus shook his head. No, I don't want a makeup party. I don't want to pretend this didn't happen. He looked at his father. They've been doing stuff like this since you married her, Dad. Small things mean things, but we never said anything because we didn't want to upset you. David sank into a chair. I've been such a fool. Yes, Jessica said firmly. You have. But now you know. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Before David could answer, the doors burst open. Amanda stood there, mascara streaked down her face. David, please, let me explain. I think you've done enough. Marcus cut her off, surprising everyone with his firmness. You and your kids didn't just ruin a party today. You showed exactly who you are. People who take things that don't belong to them, who destroy what others work hard to create, who think nothing of hurting others for your own entertainment. Marcus, Amanda stepped forward, but he backed away. No, I'm done pretending. Dad, I don't want to spend weekends at your house anymore. Not while they're there. And Jessica, he turned to his sister, holding up the book. This is the best graduation gift I could have gotten, because it shows me who my real family is. As Amanda fled the room crying, David stood up. I'll handle the cleanup costs, he said quietly, and Jessica, I'll make sure you're reimbursed for everything. But more importantly, I'll make things right, I promise. We watched him leave, knowing that making things right would involve some difficult decisions about his marriage and his choices. Marcus sat down with his sister, opening the book again. Will you tell me about collecting all these messages? I want to hear every story. As Jessica began to talk, her face lighting up as she shared the behind-the-scenes details of her months-long project, I realized that sometimes the worst moments bring out the best in people. My children had shown incredible strength, grace, and wisdom today. And maybe that was the real graduation gift, not the party that was stolen, but the moment when they both stood up for what was right, when they chose truth over pretense and real family over fake harmony. Mrs. Chen brought us some chairs and leftover bottles of water. We sat there in the mess of the ruined party, listening to Jessica's stories and watching Marcus discover the messages in his book, and somehow it felt more meaningful than any perfect party could have been. Sometimes the best celebrations aren't the ones we plan, but the moments when we discover who we really are and who truly stands beside us.